Does your organization need more nurses? Struggling to connect with RNs where they spend time? Budgets are tight, there's a scarcity of applicants, and using travelers can cost up to an additional $150,000 per year. It's time for a superior solution. It's time to work with the experts. Like us. Since 2019, healthcare providers throughout the US and Canada have successfully engaged and recruited thousands of candidates using nurse recruitment experts' three-step advertising, screening, and consultative process. We help healthcare providers reach further with their advertising, discover hidden gems, and mobilize the power of their employer brand in nurse recruitment. With results based pricing and no long term commitments, we are the most cost effective and low risk partner for your nurse recruitment needs. So why not take your nurse recruitment to the experts? Visit nurserecruitmentx.com.
Hello, everybody. This is Adam Chambers with Nurse Recruitment Experts. And this week, I'm going to be talking about ChatGPT, 3 use cases for recruiting nurses. So, ChatGPT burst onto the scene earlier in the year and has quickly been picked up by many people in business circles. Typically, HR recruitment, we're slow to adopt things, and even more so in the healthcare sector. So, I want to encourage you all to speed things along and get on the technology train, because this is something that I see as a game changer, rather than a fad. I mean, people are comparing it to the advent of the search engine and the way that was a technological leap and bound. So I think we're in a really fortunate position today to be some of the first users of this who can become experts in it and really get in at the start and get ahead of the competition. So I'm going to share my my feelings on it and then show you 3 use cases. So first of all, it's 2023 and it's still a pain to write effective job ads. If you go on Indeed, you'll see most posts aren't really talking about the candidate or persuading them. It's simply a description. So for example, not singling anyone out here, just search nurse in Ohio. You can see you come in and it says full job description, position summary, a professional caregiver who plans, revises, and directs patients' care and teaching, etc., etc. And here's another one that says this is a new state-of-the-art 41-bed emergency department as its opener. And it's been proven that if you can speak directly to candidates, engage them, make them interested in the first few lines of your job ad, then you're going to win more applicants, interviews, and hires, because you're standing out from the rest. People respond to language that's directed towards them. So it's crucial whenever you're posting on Indeed that the opener of your job description is actually a job ad that makes people keep reading, it resonates with them and catches their eye and makes them think that you actually care about them. So I'm going to be going into that a little bit. It's also a pain to get your team to post on LinkedIn. 90% of the content from LinkedIn is coming from 5% of people. Most accounts are pretty quiet, dormant even. And if your candidate market's on there, that's an opportunity for your recruiters to connect with them and start creating content that will be of interest to them. The major barrier is it's just a bit of a whenever you ask people to post on LinkedIn, the creativity is not there in a lot of recruitment teams, and they're not sure what to come out with. Maybe not sure how to keep it on brand, or just lack of creativity or time to come up with something. So that's a pain. And following up with candidates as well, we see a lot of employers aren't really sending engaging pre and post interview emails or texts. It might be, this is the location and this is the time, and then thank you for coming, here's the next steps. We know that no shows for interviews are a big problem, big time waste, and a lost opportunity. And if you can write something that will make people want to show up, you're on to a winner. Finally, just to find time to do recruitment marketing People are switching on about this more, but I still see a lot of stuff in the market of a career site that is just the jobs of an organization. There's nothing there explaining why a nurse should apply to the job or stories of people currently working in the facilities or success stories of people that got promotions, especially in the smaller organizations. I think bigger chain hospitals have got it down. But if you look at a small home care or senior living facility, they're kind of behind and it's a pain to do it. So I'm going to be talking about how we can actually do this. So getting your team to effectively communicate, advertising positions, how can we make that less expensive? How can we make marketing as easy as having a conversation and then cut the excuses for people to not follow up, make posts, or engage candidates? So the first use case is in writing job ads. As I mentioned, if you post up more than a job description, you actually post a job ad on Indeed, you're going to get more applications because it stands out from the crowd and strikes interest. So, for example, I picked up one of the ads I found on Indeed. ChatGPT works via prompts. So you tell it to produce a piece of content with certain criteria. So I said, write an engaging job ad using this description, and then prompted it with the outlay of what that role was, which I just scraped from Indeed. It's been trained on, it's called a large language model. It's been trained from hundreds of thousands of different websites to know what is a job ad, what is engaging, and what is a job description. It's got the ability to collate that information and then produce a piece of content which is generated based on the prompts. So that's a kind of dummy's introduction. I'm a bit of a duck when it comes to a bit of a dummy and knowing how this works, and I'm learning. But I think it's important that we all learn together and we start doing it. So you can see its output was as follows. It said, join our team as a registered nurse. And then the start of the ad was, are you a compassionate and skilled registered nurse looking for an exciting career opportunity? So at the very start, it's been able to call out the type of person we're looking for. However, my prompt in this wasn't detailed enough. I want it to be really about the candidate. So you can follow up to it by saying, make it more this or make it less that. I asked it to make it more candidate centric. And what it came out with was something that was an improvement. So it had a why choose us section, which states professional growth, supportive team, your well-being matters, we're going to invest in you, community discounts. And it's, you can see it's structured it in an improved way than the first one, where it took a little bit of a while to get to the why choose us. I think it was kind of the third section. I asked it to make it more candidate centric and it put it in the second section, closer to the top. So to actually do this, you want to get your job description. Let's just get this one. You copy it in, and then you create a prompt. So let's say we're asking it, make an engaging, candidate centric job ad for this description. In the first two paragraphs, explain why we are unique and a nurse should choose us instead of someone else. And then you just put in the description and it will generate it for you. So you can see here it said at such and such health, we're not just not a healthcare institution, we're community driven. We invite you to be part of our team. And then again, it's put the why choose us section. So have a play about with that. Go onto your job board profile or your ATS, pull down your existing job descriptions that just say what the role is, and ask ChatGPT to turn it into an ad that is candidate centric. And then you can go and replace what you have with this after some editing so that it's more optimized towards the reader instead of you. You want the candidates, when they see it, to think that you're different and you want to stand out. And this is a great way to do it without needing to invest lots of time in the writing process. Second point, candidate follow up. So that could be getting them to show up, which is a massive problem for interviews, or getting them to stay engaged once they have arrived. So, as a starting point, it's great because you can ask it how to improve your life. You know, you can tell it your problems, you can use it for therapy to give you some ideas. Obviously, it's not completely evolved to the abilities of a human and a professional, and you need to take what it says with a pinch of salt. But it's quite useful to engage new ideas and help you think differently. So, for example, we are senior living facility, and 50% of CNA interviews don't show. How can we improve? You can even put in here more specific. So you can say what market you're in, you can say what you're paying, and it will be able to match that against data that it has. So, for example, you can say we are in Dayton, Ohio, and we pay $25 per hour. Is that enough? And whilst the data kind of ends, I think it's in 2021, it can give you prompts for what to do. So, research the average, evaluate the local demand and supply. And people who create AI companies pitch it as a co-pilot, and I think that's the best way to think about it. It's something that can assist you as you go about trying to achieve your objectives. So this one, it's told me improving the no-show is essential. Here's some things you can do: streamline the application process, prompt communication, pre-screening questions. So you can just use this as a checklist against what you are currently doing to see if there's anything that you could expand into. I can also ask it to generate something. So help me generate an engaging, exciting pre-interview email to nurses who will interview my hospital. And again, you can put in specific information about hospital, and it will throw up a good template. So you can see here, this is a basis from which you can insert what makes you better than the alternatives. Again, say it's putting in engagement, making it interesting. And I didn't really have to do a lot to get that. I just inserted the request. So come in here and ask it, here's our key selling points, here's our issues. Help me generate a pre interview email or a text or a process to get more people to show up. Finally, creating recruitment marketing content. So, as I mentioned, this can be tricky for a lot of organizations because you don't really have a specific marketing person for recruitment if you're not a big organization. So, what can you do about that? You can try and engage your marketing team, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. You can also create the content yourself, and ChatGPT is a good assistant for that. So, for example, say you're pushing hard to recruit nurses to your ER, you want your team to connect with people on LinkedIn and then start promoting it on their posts or their messages. You can ask it to generate the text for that. So let's say we are hosting a nurse virtual hiring event in 7 days. Help me create a post that advertises it and gets people to show up. Then you could put like location, time, requirements, etc. So you don't even have to spell every word correctly for it to understand what you're doing, right? What you're trying to do. And so here you go. I think a lot, as I mentioned, a lot of accounts on LinkedIn are dormant, but there's many candidates on there, and it's simple to hop on here and ask it to do a bit of content generation based on what you're working on. So this is kind of promoting job opportunity, which doesn't often get a lot of interest and engagement on the platform because a lot of people are doing it. You can tell your team, be more specific about yourself. So, what are you working on? What's going on in your life? And then ask to make a LinkedIn post. So, let's say, help me make a LinkedIn post celebrating my work anniversary with New York Presbyterian. Put in more information, 5 years as a recruiter. Here's the highlights. What? And it will create it for you based on what it's seen other people post. Now, whenever people see this, they know it's AI generated. I think it's just kind of natural. There's some things that you do take note of. So the emoji overload often, and then certain hashtags. So I recommend going through this and maybe deleting some of those emojis and changing it so it's more in the person who's writing it, your voice. So you can always just copy it and then go on to LinkedIn or Google Docs or whatever and delete certain bits and insert other bits to make it sound more like you and more relevant, more professional in the sense of you are working at the organization, so you have greater insight. You have greater insight to your life than ChatGPT, so you can give your audience more of a perspective that it really can't do. So those are my 3 suggestions. Write job ads. I think this should be a minimum, really. If you want to get candidates in this competitive market, you need to do everything to make them want to move and to stand out. And if you're not making your job ad a job ad, there's something going on. Indeed isn't a job description site, it's a job advertising site, and you need to put some advertising into your content. For following up the candidates, you can make it more personalized. You can say, I particularly like this about the candidate to ChatGPT, and then it will write something related to that. And it'll help you come up with a strategy, give you new ideas. And then recruitment marketing content. Again, the request has become much easier for your team members by saying, happy if you use AI, ChatGPT, just edit it slightly so it doesn't seem like it's being just churned out automatically. And you can create a lot of content pretty easily. So those are my 3 starter steps. If you'd like to learn any more, you can reach out to me, Adam Chambers, on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to help. This is something that really interests me. And I would love to hear from you if you found success using ChatGPT in your nurse recruitment. Let us know. And until next time, good luck. Thank you for watching.